Everyone talks about the Dubai Golden Visa like it's a luxury upgrade, but that's not why people quietly chase it. The real reason is far more practical, and once you see it, you'll understand why over 100,000 investors didn't hesitate for a second. Because this isn't about status or headlines. It's about control. Control over where you live, when you move, and what happens if the world suddenly stops playing nice. And the moment you realize that, the golden visa stops sounding optional and starts feeling necessary. Here's the uncomfortable truth most ads won't tell you. The golden visa isn't valuable because it lets you stay in Dubai. It's valuable because it lets you leave, and then come back whenever you want, years later, without asking permission from anyone. No minimum stay, no maximum stay, no countdown ticking in the background. You can disappear for 5 years, return, and legally nothing has changed. That one detail alone flips the entire conversation, because once you compare it to a normal investor visa, everything else suddenly feels fragile. A standard investor visa lasts 2 years. 2. And it comes with rules that quietly limit your freedom, because if you don't physically enter the country every 6 months, you lose it. Miss that window, and it's gone. So imagine building a life plan on top of something that can expire just because you were busy elsewhere. That's why Americans, Europeans, and investors from unstable regions don't see the golden visa as a perk. They see it as a backup system, a clean, legal plan B that doesn't demand constant attention. And when you think about it that way, the question shifts from why get it to why wouldn't you? But residency is only the first layer. The second layer is where things get interesting, because this is where most people quietly fail. Banking. If you're a non-resident, opening a bank account in the UAE can feel like hitting a wall. Residents can open accounts. Yes, but there's a catch nobody explains up front. Lose your visa, and your bank can shut your account down instantly. And if you're not planning to live full-time in the UAE, that's a risk most people underestimate until it's too late. This is where the golden visa changes the game. Because it stays active even when you're gone, your bank account stays active too. That matters more than people admit, especially if you're a business owner. Salaried employees usually get approved without drama, but entrepreneurs? Different story. If you own a company and aren't technically employed, many banks will simply say no. In those cases, having a golden visa doesn't guarantee approval, but it dramatically improves your odds. And for certain passports, that difference is everything. Then comes the third layer, and this one is rarely discussed properly. Sponsorship. A golden visa isn't just about you. Your spouse gets one. Your children get one. And not just your kids. Your parents too. That alone makes it fundamentally different from normal visas, because with employment-based residency, one lost job can collapse the entire structure. Your visa goes, and so does everyone else's. With a golden visa, nobody can fire you, which means your family's residency isn't tied to a company's mood or market conditions. And it goes even further. If you regularly travel to the UAE with your family, you can sponsor domestic helpers, a driver, a babysitter, people who make life functional when you're actually there. These aren't flashy benefits, but they're the kind of details that tell you this visa was designed for people who think long-term, not tourists passing through. Now, here's where many people get confused. Property investment is not the only way to qualify. You can park 2 million dirhams in a bank deposit and get the visa quickly. Simple, clean, and fast. But there's a trade-off hiding in plain sight. The interest rates on those deposits are rarely attractive, especially when compared to what Dubai real estate can generate over the same period. So yes, it works, but it's passive in the least exciting way possible. Business owners also have a path. If your company generates at least 1 million dirhams in annual revenue, you may qualify. Or if you previously founded a business that sold for $2 million or more, that can work too. There's also a category for exceptional talent. Doctors with ministry recommendations, athletes recognized by local authorities, people with credentials that open doors most don't even see. All valid routes. But the one that consistently offers both residency and returns is real estate. On paper, it sounds expensive. 2 million dirhams. About 550,000 US dollars. That's the headline number everyone repeats. But here's where a recent change quietly shifted everything. You no longer need to pay the full amount. You don't even need to wait for the property to be completed. As soon as you put down 20% and pay the 4% Dubai land apartment fee, you're eligible. That's roughly 480,000 dirhams total, about $130,000. Suddenly, the barrier looks very different. The payment plan speed doesn't matter. The construction timeline doesn't matter. What matters is that initial commitment. Once that's done, the process starts moving. First comes the sales purchase agreement. Sounds simple, but if the project is newly launched, the developer might not have it ready yet. Opening escrow accounts and finalizing documents can take weeks, sometimes months. This delay frustrates people who expect everything to move instantly, but it's normal. Once the agreement is signed, you apply for a digital ownership certificate issued by the land department. Think of it as a temporary title deed for off-plan properties. It proves ownership before construction finishes. That alone can take 2 to 3 weeks. Then comes the online application, which you can submit from anywhere in the world. Fees are relatively modest, roughly $1,000. So far, everything can be done remotely. But then comes the part you can't outsource. You must physically enter the UAE. A medical exam is required. Nothing dramatic. Blood test, basic screening. Along with that come the Emirates ID, residency permit, and administrative fees. Budget around 10,000 dirhams for this stage. After that, you wait. Officially, up to 30 days. In reality, often less. Authorities use this time for due diligence, and you're free to leave the country while they do. Finally, the approval arrives. An email. Confirmation. Emirates ID issued. At that point, it's done. 10 years. No renewal anxiety. No 6-month check-ins. No dependency on employers. And this is usually where people think the hard part is over. But it isn't. Because getting the visa is easy compared to choosing the wrong property. This is where most investors quietly lose money. Not because the system is broken, but because they don't define their goal before they buy. Some want safety. Some want growth. Some want cash flow. And each goal demands a completely different strategy. That's why the first question my team always asks isn't about budget. It's about intention. Because once you understand what you're trying to achieve, the right opportunities start separating themselves from the noise. And that's exactly where things get interesting. Because the same 2 million dirhams can either sit quietly preserving value or aggressively multiply if you place it correctly. If you're serious about getting the Dubai Golden Visa and making your money work instead of just parking it, don't guess your way through it. Reach out to APIL Properties and let our team handle it properly. We'll help you choose the right property based on your goal, run the numbers, and guide you through the entire Golden Visa process from start to finish. Message us on WhatsApp or use the link in the description to book a consultation. And let's turn your residency plan into a smart long-term investment.